Understanding the phases of relationships when you first meet someone can be a game changer. So grab your coffee, find a cozy spot, and get ready for a captivating episode as we explore the phases of relationships and the red flags you need to watch out for. We will even share some personal stories of things in our relationship that we have never talked about. Whether you're single, in a budding romance, or in a long-term commitment, this episode is packed with wisdom that will have you thinking about your own relationship. So let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode.
And we're back.
Candidly with coffee.
By the time to listen to this, it's our favorite day of the week.
It's Friday already?
Already.
Why can't I never remember?
I know. Come on, catch up. You should know this.
I just never.
Their favorite time of the week, too. It's the end of the week.
Oh, I just realized that this is. All right. So before we get too far into it, you know the drill. We have to do some housekeeping, which means I was looking at the statistics, and 50% of the people that watch our show regularly do not subscribe.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're not subscribed. They just, because what happens on YouTube is the algorithm feeds you what you watch.
Yeah.
So you don't have to subscribe. It'll just feed you the new episodes.
Come on, you guys.
So hit the subscribe button,
Come
you guys.
on, y'all. You got to support, man. Come on, man.
So subscribe.
Yes.
And follow us on Instagram, candidly_with coffee. Share an episode. If an episode resonates with you, we would appreciate it if you shared it. That would be nice.
Please.
And comment, of course, because we love to interact with you guys in the comments. And then leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Thank you.
We'd really appreciate it.
Yes, we do. We love y'all.
And so before we get too far into this, I wanted to give Mr. Escobar here a shout out because he's got like his own show over on his own channel. And I will be guest appearing on that channel occasionally. And this one right here is intimacy issues. We discuss intimacy issues over on his channel. His channel is more like we're talking to the men. And here on this channel, we're talking to the women. So it's like different perspectives.
Yes, it is.
Do you have anything to say about your channel? Like what it is? And
my channel is mindset, fitness, just like leveling men up, man, waking them up, becoming men again. You know what I'm saying? And also a big thing that I preach to you guys is mental health. Very important. A lot of it's very taboo in the man kingdom because a lot of men don't want to feel insecure. They don't want to feel, they don't want their person who they're with to feel some type of way about them, feel less than a man. Men are they have this pride and this ego, this macho, and they don't want to feel less than a man. So they're afraid to divulge their feelings. Because growing up in my community, my culture, Latinos, we're not supposed to divulge that kind of stuff. You're not supposed to cry. I was always told, my own father said, don't cry, it's for girls. But that ain't true. Yeah. Crying's a good emotion. It's good to let that out. It's good to talk about your feelings because when you get to that dark side and you don't tell nobody, you're going to cross over. You told somebody, they could have saved you. So it's important to talk about that.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
One conversation
can save you. I've had some deep conversations with some people recently who are like, all right, man.
What's crazy is you will never know, but maybe you've already saved people.
Maybe, huh?
You know what I mean? The one conversation you had, or maybe that one episode they listened to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got a lot of comments one time when I did a mental health episode a long time ago.
Yeah.
And people were like, damn, this is deep. I like that. Help people out. Because a lot of guys are going through shit and they're afraid to talk. They don't know who to talk to. They won't even talk to their own wife. I didn't even talk to you. Prime example.
True. Very true. So yeah, you guys head over to, I will link it up here on the screen, but head over to that channel or recommend it to your husbands, your boyfriends, because we are going to be getting into it over there on that
muscle
side
cars
of things.
too over there.
Yeah.
If they love muscle cars, man, I'm your guy. I'm a muscle car head.
All right. Next up is just a reminder that we will be live on January 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Pacific time.
So what that means is if you are on the East Coast, it's 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
I had some people who were, last time they were inquiring like, hey, where are you guys? I'm looking for you. And it was 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm like, no 5 p.m. Pacific. We're in California.
And Texas, I believe, is 2 hours ahead of us.
I'm not sure. I don't know about this. I only know
Central
East and
time.
West. I don't know Central time. Because I get confused with the daylight savings. Some states do it, some don't.
Yes.
So sometimes Arizona's off by us by an hour.
Yep.
I just get confused.
Florida's 3 hours ahead of us too, by the way. So Floridians, you guys are East Coast time.
Yeah.
West
So for
Coast.
you guys, it'll be 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
So anyways, but don't forget to tune into that because we have a lot of fun. And get ready with your questions because we just answer questions. And it's a fun time. We'll be celebrating our birthdays because it's smack dab in between. Right. We have dinner plans after.
Mine would have already have passed. Yours is going to be the next day. 2 days. 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Mine is Sunday.
I'm thinking about where we're going.
Yeah, we're going to celebrate it Saturday. And then we're also I'm going to be out of the house for 3 nights in a row, you guys. This is a record. It's a record. Thursday night, I'm going to the 2 T's in a Pod live podcast in San Francisco with Lorena, which is going to be cool. I love the Housewives. You guys know this. And then Friday night, we have the live, and then we're going to go out to dinner after that. Lisa's going to join us. And then Saturday, we have dinner plans also. So it's just an eventful few days.
Yes, it is. Busy.
Yeah. All right. So I came across this photo and I had to share it because it's good to remember how far you've come.
Right.
You guys, this is us doing an episode of Candidly with Coffee a few years back. We're crouched over a little table with plastic chairs. With funky mics.
And you still got those same slippers. Those chanclas of yours. Your cheetah print.
My leopard slippers. Yeah. And I still have the same robe. I was just wearing that robe, actually. It's my Skims robe.
Look at that.
But
that was in the back of the gym.
Yeah, that was in our gym, and we've come a long way. So it's important to stop and have gratitude for that.
Yes, it is. It's good to reflect back.
Yeah, we weren't even on YouTube there. We were just filming we were recording the audio. We were not on YouTube at that point.
I know. Look at that fat-headed neck on me. Oh.
Yeah, your neck was big.
Ooh.
Why does your neck look so big?
I don't know. It looks like I almost have no neck, huh? And I don't have a thick neck.
No, why does your neck look so huge?
I don't know. That was my head.
And you're holding coffee, of course. Very on brand.
Look at that.
Yeah, I thought I would share that. And today's a very happy day, so I wanted to share this with you guys. Mega Fit Meals comes today. Ooh. I really feel like I didn't realize how much I loved them until I didn't get an order last week because I got so busy that I didn't order. And I didn't have Mega Fit Meals, and I'm really missing it.
I know. They come in handy, especially when we're busy on the go and we don't have time or you're tired, you don't feel like cooking.
You guys, if you are on a journey and tracking macros, Mega Fit Meals is a meal prep service that has been a game changer for me, honestly. Because the food is delicious. It's high volume. They're large meals, which I love.
Filling.
And so basically, I get my order in. I set them all up in my tracker app with the macros, and then I just plug and play, and I don't have to think.
The app that we use also stores it and saves it, so a lot of times it's already in there.
No, that's what I'm saying. I save it, though, as a custom food. You save it in there with all the macros, and you just have all your Mega Fit meals in there, and you just plug and play literally.
Easy.
It's the best. And so I am very excited that we're getting our delivery today.
And what did I tell you yesterday? I was dead tired, but I still made us our burgers. But imagine people who are not disciplined.
That's when they mess up.
Especially when they're hungry.
Yeah.
They're like, it's an internal battle. F this. I'm just going to go to a drive-thru. I'm just going to eat this because they're hungry.
Yeah.
And they're impatient. They don't want to go home and spend 10, 15 minutes cooking or 20, whatever it takes.
And the cool thing is it's not a subscription. Just order a 16-pack or a 12-pack and put it in your freezer to have for those days that you're tired, you're busy or whatever, and you just heat it and eat it. It's just really good. So I'm really happy because I'm working with them. So I am an affiliate for them. I reached out to them after I fell in love with them. It wasn't the other way around. And if you use my link, that does support me. So I appreciate that.
And let's be honest, boredom, you get bored. So guess what? It's nice to eat somebody else's meals.
Yeah.
You get bored, especially eating the same stuff over and over.
Because I'm not cooking it. It tastes like, that's why I'm so obsessed with your hamburgers, because I don't cook it, for one. But you have mastered I've never liked the 93% lean meat because to me it's very dry.
Yeah.
But the way you make it perfectly medium rare-ish.
3 minutes on each side on that pan, I nailed it.
The Good and Gather 93%
from Target.
Lean from Target. I don't need fast food.
High heat, you guys, for 3 minutes on each side. That's it. It's all I blast. A little olive oil.
So what number on the stove?
I do number 9.
Number 9. Yeah. I think that's the key. Number 9.
I go number 9, and then when I flip it, I go back down to 6 because I want to get it grilled, that little burnt mark on it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have grills, obviously. It's just flat pan, but still.
That's okay.
So I do number 6 when I flip it. The other 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't overcook it.
It's to giving
you my formula, you guys.
Yeah, you guys need it. You guys need it.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm eating outside when I eat those burgers and the homemade fries in the air fryer.
So good. All right, moving on. It's a Hold My Coffee. We haven't had one in a while. Wow. And this one comes to us from a listener. Now, she's a listener, a friend of the show. Let's call it friend of show. Phoebe Lee. She watches my YouTube channel. She comments frequently. And I'm not surprised to have her appear on my Hold My Coffee segment because she's even admitted that she has trollish behavior at times.
Oh, Phoebe.
She has admitted that. So it's funny. This is not, like I said, Hold My Coffee, you guys, is not meant to, it's meant to be all in fun many times, unless it is like a hardcore troll. But I had to point this out because I have other people who comment on this sometimes, or they're curious about the dogs. And she commented, wait, while you were at Target, you made a comment that you wanted to get a toy for your dog. Do you not consider your husband's dogs your dogs and vice versa? And I felt like, for one, I replied to her saying, you're reading way too into that. Because,
way too into that.
Yeah, like I was basically saying, oh, you got a toy for Pablo, the Frenchie. And I thought, oh, maybe I should get a toy for mine.
Yeah.
Meaning the littles, because they have to have different toys because they're different dogs, right?
Yes.
And we're very cautious in our household because we have 5 dogs, all different sizes. And we have to be cautious with toys, with playtime, with food time to avoid conflict and issues. And we have 5 dogs, but we do have an interesting dynamic with the dogs because my son is an adult. He's 26 years old. He has his own dog, but I still consider it one of our dogs.
Of course.
It's Apollo. And that's the boxer.
Yes.
But that's he's the primary responsibility. Dogs tend to, they have one main person.
Yes, they do.
So when I say my dog or your dog, it's because Pablo, you're the main.
He's with me all the time.
For Pablo and Rocky, which are the 2 Frenchies. Tyler is the main owner for Apollo, and I'm the main owner for my littles. But they are all of our dogs. They live under our roof, inside our home, and they run the show. I have blankets everywhere, and they've taken over. So rest assured, these dogs are treated like royalty.
Royalty.
And you shouldn't read too much into it. But I had to point that out.
Man, they're so spoiled.
Yeah.
They don't ever go hungry. They're living in a warm house. They live in warm beds. They got it made.
And we have an interesting dynamic where we work from home. So it's like we don't leave the house and are gone all day and then come home and greet the dogs for a little bit, then go about our business. When you go to work and do your things, you take your dogs.
I take Pablo with me.
And I take my littles usually wherever I am, they're with me. And Tyler takes Apollo with him when he's running errands. Yeah, our dogs are spoiled. I've had other people comment on, do you keep your dogs in the crates all the time? No. They're like babies. Think about babies, right? What do you use cribs for babies? Safety.
You have to leave them in there when we're gone.
And you create a comfortable, safe environment for your baby to take naps or to put down if you need to go do something and you want to keep your baby safe.
Yes.
It's no different with dogs. In fact, I think that's a lot where people mess up with dogs is they don't treat it like a child because that's what they are. They're like children. It's our responsibility to keep them safe.
Yes.
Keep them out of conflict, protect them from themselves. Yes. Very similar.
Just like the breeder told you, number 1 rule, when she's out of your sight or you can't tend her, in the crate. In the crate, people. If you cannot watch your dog or you're busy, you're cooking, doing laundry, doing something, and you can't keep your eyes on your dog, in the crate. That's fine. People have this thing, they're locked up in prison. It's not a prison.
No, and our dogs actually, they run to the crate all the time. Yeah. Phoebe loves a crate.
Yeah.
She loves it. And I have cozy blankets in there.
Exactly.
And I find her in the crate with the door open all the time. She's sitting there waiting for a treat or something.
Where do dogs live in the wild? Where do wolves live? In dens. So they're used to that. It's their nature to be in.
They like to be. It's just babies, like when you first bring home a newborn, they actually don't like the big old crib. They like a bassinet because they want to feel in a cocoon. Because you got to think when they were in the womb, they were in a tight quarters. They actually feel more secure, more comfortable, and you wrap them up really tight, and they do better.
Gotcha.
So puppies are very similar. They all crouch. They sleep together on top of each other.
It's instinct. It's all animal instinct.
Anyways, that is the
answer.
That's the Hold My Coffee. Don't worry, they're all my dogs, and they are treated very well.
Very well.
All right, moving on. Comment corner. Let's see. First one comes to us from Lamb Chop 44. My 80-year-old stepdad still makes my mom give it up fairly regularly and doesn't use Viagra. I'm 50 and I don't need pills. Quite the opposite. Not every man experiences these things the same. That is true.
That's true. We're not all built the same.
Yeah.
I say the same thing.
Yeah, not every man
Yeah.
experiences libido issues or
Nope.
frequency issues or whatever. Everybody is very different. Just all women experience different symptoms in menopause or whatever. So that is true.
There's some women there's some women that lose their drive in their 40s, and there's some women that their drive is 100 plus in their 40s.
Because I know someone whose dad, like, he's in his late 70s and he wants it every day.
That's insane.
He gets mad.
I thought we're supposed to retire by a certain age. I never think about old people being able to do that anymore.
No, they
thought the game is over.
So the game is not over.
Damn.
You got to keep going, babe.
Well, I work out, I train, so I stay fit and healthy.
Yeah, you got to keep it going. But some people have a different sex drive than others.
Yes,
I think
do.
that's normal. So I acknowledge that comment. I wanted to share that comment. This one comes to us from Mrs. Sams -OSE. I just found you, Janine. 2024 is my year. Just turned 40, and I absolutely feel everything you talk about. This is the first podcast with the both of you, and I love y'all. The humor and banter reminds me of my husband and I. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that.
And we've had banter today. Let me tell you. We've had a little bit of a rough morning.
I'm ready to throw these headphones and walk out of here, to be honest, if I'm being truthful.
Why?
Because you're getting me turned up.
Why?
What you think? Why? Move this, adjust that, sit there, diva this, diva that. Like, I'm just trying to be comfortable. We're in a studio now. I don't want to be comfortable. We're in a big table. I want to be comfortable.
You guys.
We're uncomfortable for so long. Now I want to be comfortable.
He is a diva.
I have something in between my legs. I want to be comfortable.
You have something in between your legs?
Yes.
What?
What do you think? Man parts. I don't want to be touching that. You said scoot in closer. No, sweetheart.
I thought you meant there was
the
like the leg was in between your legs. Okay. Anyways, he gets mad when I try to shift him when I'm setting up the cameras. There's the banter. Moving on to Carlin Laramie. I think Larsa is full of it. 5 times, come on. I was born at night, but not last night. I love that you guys discuss all the kinds of things, and that is why this is my favorite show on YouTube.
She's capping. She's
Listen,
lying.
we've had so many comments on this, tons, okay? Because on the short and on the YouTube channel. I'm not saying that it is impossible to do it 5 times in a night. My whole point was that it is not realistic, nor do I believe that she is actually doing it 5 times a night, every night, because
7
that's
days a
what
week.
she says.
Yes.
5 times a night, every night. Because yes, do I think it's possible in a crazy alcohol-fueled Vegas weekend that you have sex 5 times in a night? Yeah, it's possible.
I guess.
Like some crazy night, right?
Some drugs in there.
But it's not feasible that and nor would it be like an anatomically tolerable for doing that day after day after day.
For you guys.
Have you ever heard of, porn? Like the girl has to get she has to have ice and all kinds of stuff. Sometimes when they have those crazy, I've heard a documentary on porn stars before.
Yes.
Where they get swollen, they get bruised, and it's very painful. It's literally painful and trauma on your vagina.
Of course.
Larsa has.
But let me talk about this real quick before we move on. 5 times a night. She likes to say outlandish shit for likes, clickbait, whatever. She said she was doing this with Scotty 4 times a night. Scottie Pippen, her ex-husband, was a professional basketball player. Played alongside Michael Jordan. They won 6 titles. Let me tell you something. Don't no NBA player have fucking time and energy to be having sex 4 times a night when they got to train every day, hella hard to have games every day. Come on. You don't think this man comes home tired after an NBA game? They're running up and down that court hard. He has the energy every night and on top of training every morning.
Like multiple times,
Come
maybe
on.
one.
Really, Larsa? Really? And then she tries to one up and say, "Fuck, get that."
But you know what? It's
here.
funny because I feel like some men who commented on the video, it's like they wanted to prove it. They would tag their girlfriend. Oh, tell them they don't know or what. It was like an ego thing.
No,
it goes back to
these dudes, man.
Yeah, like an ego thing. That's not. First of all, you shouldn't have to do it that many times.
We don't have 5 loads in us.
Once should be enough if it's done correctly and done well.
Yes. Yep.
It's quality, not quantity.
There you go. That part.
Yeah, it's just like when young guys go, "Oh, I pounded her." That's not enjoyable, you dummy.
Yeah. No, the big ones, I smashed that.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's dumb.
It's trying to sound cool. You ain't cool. Be quiet.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to get into too far details, but it's just the point of the video. The point of us talking about it was I just thought it was not true that it was 5 times a night every night.
No.
Because that is
every
just
night.
ridiculous.
Yeah, stop it. 365 days. She's just exaggerating, capping.
I feel like it's an ego thing because she said that about Scotty, and so now she's with him, and so like to fluff his ego, like Marcus Jordan, make him not feel so.
Michael Jordan's
She came
son.
out and said that. Yeah. So, anyways, all right, moving on to Andrea Lawrence, 2348. She says, I loved this episode. My partner is turning 40 this year, and I'm there in a year and a half. I've already been through so much mentally over the past 6 years. We've been together, and I can only imagine menopause will be a whole other challenge. We suck at communicating, but are getting better, I think. The sex talk is definitely important. We do talk about this subject because neither of us wants the other to feel like we are cheating or undesiring the other. It's important to get ahead of these topics before they become big deals. I can definitely see changes in his libido already, and I try to encourage him to exercise, but he won't. I encourage him to see a doctor also, but he has yet to do this. Mike, how can I encourage him to see a doctor without seeming pushy?
That is a good question. Without seeming pushy. Oh, man.
First of all, make sure that you go.
Yes. Got to lead by example.
Yeah.
Sometimes a woman has to take the lead.
Yeah.
And you just try to be, how do you get a man to go to the doctor? How did you get me to go to the doctor? I'm trying to think.
I made appointments for both of us.
There you go. Maybe
you know what I mean? I said, hey, like we need to get and just make sure our health is in order.
Yes, we're getting older.
Yeah, so I'm going to make us appointments. And we both did everything. We both did colonoscopies. Yes. We both did full checkups. We both did full blood work.
And you made me get back on blood pressure meds because there's friends of my family history. And maybe find out like what runs in his family history and just talk to him about it. Hey, babe, we don't want to wait till it's too late. We don't want to get caught with our pants down if you get a stroke. Because I lost a cousin at 40 years old, you guys, like that. Took her out, stroke. My father had him at 58. So you have to know.
I think that's a good approach would be to identify, is there any family history of anything?
Yep.
Because then you can lead with that. Hey.
Yes.
There's a family history of this. And usually there's something, diabetes or
heart disease,
related.
Yes. And coming into your 40s, that's a lot of guys get caught slipping and have heart attacks. They think they're invincible, but I've had a few friends have heart attacks in their 40s.
A lot of times you can use a media story to break the ice. There's a young girl, an influencer who just passed away. They suspect heart attack. She's a Brazilian influencer.
Wow.
35 years old.
Wow.
And so you can use...
What was the history behind that? Does anyone know?
No, they're assuming. I guess it's being reported that it was a heart attack.
Damn.
But I'm just saying, you can use a story to start the conversation, and then make sure that you're getting checked as well, and maybe you guys can do it together.
Yes,
I think that helps, but it is touchy.
It is.
I had a hard time getting you to get back on your blood pressure medication.
It's a lot of pride with me, and I'll tell you why. It's not so much that. It's just I'm not a big into the medical industry. I'm all about health myself, working out, eating good, training hard. But unfortunately, I inherited something I didn't ask for, and it runs in my family history. So I'm aware of that. So you have to make him aware of that. Make sure to, babe, don't get caught slipping. Some of us get caught slipping. Like you said, that Brazilian influencer, 35 years old, got caught slipping. Heart attack came out of nowhere. That happens a lot. Out of nowhere. People, like I said, it caught all of us off guard. My cousin got that stroke at 40 years old. And she was at the hospital and everything, didn't make it. It took her in one foul swoop. And my father, being older, 58 years old, it almost got him. But somehow that man's strong, man. He's a fighter, and he fought back, but he's never been the same, but he survived. You know? Yeah,
so OnlyFans murder trial that's underway about the OnlyFans model that viciously stabbed her boyfriend. And she's on trial for that right now. She's pleading not guilty.
Of course she is.
And the trial is going on. So I've been watching like a lot of little clips and stuff on this video. If you're not familiar with this story, she brutally stabbed him to death.
Yes.
And in the trial, they're bringing up all these videos of them in the past and over the course of their relationship, where they were very volatile. She was very volatile, always the aggressor in these videos. There was an elevator altercation where she literally punched him.
Yep.
In the elevator. Another altercation in a hotel lobby, which she just kept continually charging him, whatever. So it definitely is establishing a pattern
Yes.
with her. They are just, some couples just have that really like volatile relationship and they keep coming back for more. It's almost like passion.
I never allowed a woman to do that to me. Not once. Once you let someone do that to you, cross that line, they'll do it over and over. That's a no.
Yeah, we know couples that like they thrive on that kind of relationship.
Yeah,
though.
they do. It's like they get
It's
off
like
on
they
it.
like it.
Yes,
It's
we do. We
weird.
know a certain couple.
Yes, we
100%.
do. I do
Weirdos.
not.
No.
I do not like any kind of trauma or turmoil or what.
No.
I don't like fighting. I don't like arguing. So that thing would be an absolute no for me. But it just goes to show you that the red flags were there with this particular relationship. And sadly now, and obviously she's pleading innocent and she's innocent till proven guilty. But my opinion is that she's absolutely guilty. That's
Yes.
my opinion.
Mine too. Come on.
And she's saying that she threw the knife at him.
Through it.
That she threw the knife, but he has multiple stab wounds. And one of them is like a plunge in like 3 inches into his chest. That was the one that actually killed him, was the cause of death. And they're literally having a demo in court of throwing a knife thrower.
A professional knife thrower who does it.
Throwing and using a pig carcass
Yes.
to prove that she could have thrown that knife. Okay, but why is there...
Multiple stab wounds.
And he's a professional knife thrower.
A professional who has thousands of reps and hours under his belt
Yeah.
that has mastered this. Stop it.
Nice
She's going to
try.
get lucky on the first one and...
Yeah, come
Stop.
on. Yeah, anyways. But that whole topic just brought me to just relationships in general. And I just like to look up statistics because I think it's
You and your
interesting.
statistics, man.
Yeah. Did you know that the average age of marriage in the U.S. has gone up? That's a good thing. People are getting married older now.
Good.
The
Smarter.
average age of
That's
people
smart.
getting married has increased as people are choosing to take that step later in life. It's now 30 for men and 28 for women. It used to be,
Dude.
20.
How old were you?
With my first marriage, I was 21.
And he was
No, I was 20. I'm sorry. We were both 20.
20.
20.
Kids don't even know nothing about nothing yet. 20. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also wanted to look up some other statistics, age gap statistics, and the ability to preserve to make it based on age gaps. So
Okay.
8% of married straight couples have an age gap of 10 years. Only 1% of that 10% is the woman is older than the man.
Really?
So 8% of couples, there's a 10-year age gap, but it's mostly the man is older than the woman.
Okay.
Couples that have a 20-year age gap or more are 95% more likely to end in divorce.
Wow.
So if you have a 20-year age gap, the chances are very badly stacked against you. It's because people evolve. People change, and they're very different. That's like
We know
2
someone,
decades.
Yeah, we know someone who's in that age gap. Not married, but still. They're
Yeah.
married.
That's
Wow.
crazy. Couples that have a 5-year age gap are more likely to divorce are 18% more likely to divorce with a 5-year or more age gap. So basically, the closer you are in age, the higher the chances are that your marriage is going to survive. So like a 10-year age gap are 39% more likely to divorce.
Damn.
So something to keep in mind for these dudes out there who are wanting the young chicks. That's great and all, but 40% of marriages already end in divorce, but your percentage drastically increases. That statistic, the possibility drastically increases if you have an age gap of 5 years or more, getting worse as it gets older. 10 years or more, 20 years or more.
You said 40%?
40% right now, the current statistic.
40%.
So
I
it's
thought it was
gotten
higher
better.
than that. It's gotten better than it was way higher than that.
I'm thinking that it probably correlates to the trend of getting married later.
Yeah.
So later marriages it's improving the statistic of divorce. Right now, as of the end of 2023, in America, it was 40%.
Wow. 2020 was horrible. Remember that?
So experts say that a large age gap can affect certain things. Obviously, you have different values, different tastes in things like music, different reference points, culture, different approaches to sex.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, because if you think about it,
It could even be political, religious views, because there's a lot of things
that's
me and you
huge.
align with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the statistic also depends on the age gap because for the individuals that are aged between 18 and 29, Oh, the cheating. Sorry, let me back up a little bit. Cheating relationship stats. It might come as no surprise that 20% of men and 13% of women cheat in relationships. And this statistic also depends on the age gap, because individuals that are aged between 18 and 29, women are more likely to cheat than men are in that age gap.
Oh,
That's
wow.
interesting. I wouldn't have thought that.
Me neither. Not even close.
And the most common right now, the most common cheating behaviors that are happening is online.
For sure. 100%. There's no course.
Yeah. So it includes falling in love with someone on the internet, revealing personal information to them, messaging, even a lot of times reconnecting with people from your past and exes is happening online because it's so much easier to do. When you find comfort and familiarity in an ex, and maybe the internet has made it easier to find them and reconnect. And so that's been increased. That's increased the cheating statistics as well. So the day and age where we're at with the internet and stuff has increased cheating in relationships. 20%, that's 1 in 5. 1 in 5 men cheats.
Damn.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot.
I like this right there.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that for sure. So I have a quote on the screen. It says, it takes 2 to 4 years to completely get to know someone. Couples who wait this length before marriage are less likely to divorce. So you want to improve the statistics that are so stacked against you, take your time, but not necessarily too much time. But there is we've always said this. And when I did a little research for this episode, our thoughts are in line with what professionals say as well. But the top reasons people divorce is not prioritizing their relationship, narcissism. That's one of the top reasons why people divorce. One or both are narcissistic.
Wow.
And then
makes sense.
Infidelity, and then unresolved argument, so lack of communication. There was a survey done on couples, and it said it was trying to determine what percentages of people who are in relationships, so they're not divorced, but are actually happy. 64% of Americans claim they are happy in their relationship. 50% claim they are satisfied with their sex lives. So only 1 out of every 2 couples is satisfied with their sex life.
That's where infidelity comes in.
How do you improve this kind of stuff? For one, get into the right relationship to begin with.
Yes.
I think the problem is people, so if you're single out there.
Come on, Dr. Janine.
I think the problem is people get into the wrong relationships. And then that's why you're a statistic. That's why you're a divorce. That's why you're not happy in the bedroom. That's why all the other things happen, because you're in the wrong relationship.
What did we just say? We were leaving here one day after our workout talking. What made our relationship work? What is it that we have in common? The most important thing. Compatibility.
Oh, because we're compatible.
Very compatible. The way we live, we're very clean people. The way we're organized, structured, routine. We both move fast. We both move at the same speed.
Right.
Everything's correlates. It's crazy.
So the problem is this. The problem is there's phases of a relationship. So when you first meet someone, I want you guys to think about that like drunk, like being drunk.
Yes.
Because you are under the spell of all of the hormones. It's like intoxicating.
Yep.
And that can last up to a year. That intoxication, that flood of dopamine, serotonin, when you're with that person.
Everything's brand new.
You could let's call it love goggles.
Yes.
You literally have love goggles, all the feel-good chemicals.
This is the one.
Plus, this is interesting. People don't really think about this. The fear of rejection comes into play. And what I mean by that is sometimes in a new relationship, you are so preoccupied with do they like me? Do they want me? Or am I making them happy? Because you're so afraid of rejection that you don't stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, do I like him?
Yeah, true.
Do I like what he's doing? Do I like his attitude and the way he lives? Because you're especially for people pleasers out there. If you're a people pleaser, maybe you have some child trauma with your parents or whatever, and you're a pleaser. You're so caught up in making sure they like you because you're so afraid of being rejected that you forget to pay attention to see if they're actually compatible with you and to see if you like them.
That's a very good way of looking at it. I don't think people do that at all.
No,
They skip over that.
We ignore and cannot see red flag behaviors during that intoxicating courting period of a relationship. And we also justify and forgive behaviors that we usually wouldn't. And that's true, right? If we're dating barely and we have all those euphoric feelings and you come over and you leave the toilet seat up, I'm not going to trip on it, right?
Yeah.
But if you were to pee on the toilet seat or something, I'd come out and be like, babe, really? You peed on the toilet? You know what I mean?
And vice versa.
But you don't do that in the beginning. Why not? Why not? It bothers you, but why don't you do it in the beginning? Because you're trying to create this fake facade, or you let things go. But those are the things that you let go in the beginning and ignore. Those are the things that are going to rear their ugly head down the road. And you're not, now you're not intoxicated anymore. So you're not going to ignore them.
Why is it that the outsiders always see the red flags, but the person on the inside doesn't? And the outside person, someone closest to that person, is like, dude, the flags are everywhere. Are you blind? Are you stupid? Which one
Because
is it?
they're under the influence of the love and infatuation. Think about them like being drunk. You literally are under the influence of those feel-good chemicals. And you shouldn't make any permanent decisions when you're drunk, right?
Yes, 100%
You shouldn't get in a car.
facts.
You shouldn't sign a contract.
Yes, never sign a contract when
Right?
you're drunk, people. Remember, that's a good one. Do not sign a contract when you're drunk.
So think about that like in relationships, okay?
Yes.
If you're in that 1 year period, that infatuation period, you shouldn't be signing a lease. You shouldn't be getting married.
No.
You shouldn't be making a purchase together.
Nope.
You shouldn't be doing any of those things.
Nothing.
When you're intoxicated. I want you to think about it like that. Would I do this if I was drunk? Then I better not do it now. Just take some time.
Everybody's
It'll
in a
save
hurry.
you in the long run. So the next phase is part 2. So I actually think these phases, for me personally, goes in line with years. I think that courting is like a year, but the timeline could be off. But in my experience, courting is a year. 2 is like things start to get real. This is the year of building trust. So as you get to know each other more, you may become disillusioned that the person we once held on a pedestal isn't measuring up to our expectations and assumptions. For others, this time of disillusionment can bring us closer to the person we're dating, as we now see them in a more realistic light as well-rounded human beings. So you're no longer intoxicated. So now it boils down to, are you really compatible with this person?
Yep.
Do you like them in the light of day?
Yes, the light of day, after the club lights come on.
When the goggles are off.
Yes.
Okay, all those red flags that you ignored, they're still there, but now you're not drunk, so your tolerance is gone. Mm-hmm. So now is when you really figure out if you're compatible, because the chemicals have calmed down, and this is where your differences will arise, your communication styles, your ability to recover from arguments, how you actually resolve conflict. All of these things come into play when you're in this phase.
Yeah, that's true. But that's crazy. Going back a little bit, during the courting, I always watch for red flags. I just knew. I don't know what it was about me. I knew I was different, but a lot of guys don't. I always did. As soon as I saw something I like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then I've admitted to you, like I put you through a couple little tests just to see how you were.
Yeah.
There's a lot of girls, I'm not jealous, I'm confident, but they get to know them a little more, feelings come in. Bam, their true feelings come out. It shows.
Another thing that you have to keep in mind when you are in that phase 1 is, don't go by what people tell you.
Nope.
Go by their actions and behavior.
Yep.
Because everybody's going to put their best foot forward.
Always. They're not going to show their true colors.
They're going to say all the things, right? They're going to say, I'm this, I'm that.
Yes.
I'm so easygoing.
Yep.
I'm very da-da. Whatever. If you like football, I love football. They're going to do all the things. I definitely did not do that in our relationship, but I went into it with a lot of really good it's my second. I had already been married. I knew the mistake. I was trying to learn from my mistakes in my past. And so I didn't do that, but I can see where it becomes a problem, and we'll get into it with our relationship. But so building trust is important. And a lot of times here in year 2, you're faced with either going your separate ways or resolving conflicts and staying together based on now that you're no longer intoxicated.
Yeah.
And then phase 3, and to me, I feel like it's year 3, is commitment and loyalty. If the relationship continues, a commitment to love or resentment is made in this phase. So if the power in the relationship is balanced, we're able to commit to love and experience gratitude and understanding when disagreements and misunderstandings arise. But if the power in the relationship is unbalanced, we will see a commitment to resentment. So in year 3 is usually when the resentment comes to play. And one or both are living in the intoxication phase. They're still waiting, like, when is that person going to show up again?
Yeah.
And what you don't realize is that person never existed because you were under the influence. You were under the influence of your chemicals.
Yep.
What you thought existed in that phase didn't really exist. What existed was what happened in phase 2. And if you didn't phase 2, it's time to get out of the relationship because that's the real deal. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they'll live in phase 3 for
way too long
because they are still holding out hope. You know what they are? They're an addict chasing that feeling that they had in phase 1, the intoxication phase.
Yep. True.
And the problem is you're not going to get that back. That is
nope.
Unless you, and this is where people become serial relationship hoppers, though, because eventually they finally will. The resentment phase cuts out, right? And so they're like, okay, I'm out. They're gonna go chase that intoxication again. And if you don't realize that there are these steps in your relationship, you're gonna keep making the same mistakes.
Yep.
And if you think that you can find a relationship where the love goggles stay on permanently, you are going to be forever chasing your tail.
Forever.
Because the love goggles are not permanent.
There's a reason why some people stay single and some people are able to find a mate. Always.
Yeah. So when I think about these things, I think about our relationship. But so it takes 2 to 4 years to completely get to know someone. I think our relationship fell perfectly into these phases. I definitely feel that year 1 for us was intoxicating.
Of course.
We were intoxicated.
We were.
we were actually.
Thanks to her. That was her fault, not mine.
We were actually intoxicated. And we did make some risky moves in the first year because we moved in together.
You asked me to move in with you.
But we didn't do anything beyond that.
No.
But we did move in together soon. So that was a risky move for us. And I think for sure for us, year 2 was exactly falls into this. Year 2, we were building trust. We had a lot of hiccups in year 2. It was make it or break it year.
Yeah.
For us, for sure. And so what a lot of people don't know is we did almost break up. We were very close to breaking up. I never shared it with anybody because I was the type of person to keep. I don't believe in when you go through difficult times in a relationship. I'm very cautious about sharing it because a lot of times, and I'm grateful that I didn't. And let me tell you why. Because there are some things that if I would have shared in that time, I would have been encouraged to leave you.
Probably.
During that time, but we got through that period, and in year 3 is when we ended up getting engaged.
Yes.
But everything started to work its way out in year 3.
I needed to mature. I still had that like young boy. So let me explain my side of the story real quick so people get a little context to this. I had went away when I was about 20 years old, did just under 3 years in federal prison. Got out, had an ex, I had a girlfriend at the time waiting for me. Got out and that blew up. It just was never happy. Never, it was crazy. It was the way I've explained it to you. Like, I can't understand. I thought you'd be happy I'm home. It just, the relationship was never happy.
Right.
I broke away from her, lasted about 2 years, became single, was single, living in San Jose. So I went buck wild for 4 years. I'm not gonna lie. No woman could hold me down. I didn't want no woman to hold me down. I didn't want to be in a relationship. I didn't want to be married, nothing. I was just like anti all that. Like, I enjoy my freedom and no one tells me nothing and that's how I'm gonna live. Then I got with you, and it was an adjustment. It was tough, and I got with a woman with kids. It was a little hard. It was hard to, damn, I like this girl, but damn, can I really live the rest of my life with her? Can I do this? This is hard because I told myself I wouldn't do that again. My ex had 2 kids, and I'm a guy with no kids, so it's a little adjustment for me. So it took a little while, and I just was still like, I was still immature. I was still young. I was in my early 30s. I wasn't sure if I was even ready to settle down or what I wanted. But the longer I stayed with you, we toughed it out, grew closer and got better.
Right. I do remember distinctly. I am proud of myself because I did communicate, and I'm not the best communicator, honestly, but when I started to feel I was not happy with certain things, I communicated it, and we had some tough conversations.
Yeah.
Where we were both deciding, I think, on our own, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to stick it out.
Yeah.
But
True.
it was critical time. It was critical to have those communications. I feel like you were just like, you still needed a lot of validation and entertained a lot of attention from women.
Probably.
And I felt disrespected and I didn't like that, but I brought it to your attention.
Yeah.
And I let some things slide that in hindsight, I'm shocked that I did. And not that there was no infidelity, so nothing like that, but regardless.
I was pushing the envelope.
Yeah. And I'm grateful that I did though. But what the interesting part is, and I want to point this out, it only got better when I let go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think at first I felt like I wanted you to act a certain way and stop doing this and stop doing that. And the more upset I got about what I wanted you to do, the worse you got, the worse you were. And it wasn't until I thought, you know what? I'm going to let go. And if he goes, I'm going to focus on me. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll get over it. Yeah. And you guys, it was at that time that our entire relationship shifted. Do you remember? It coincides with when I actually started prepping for my competition. I cleaned up my act. I started to focus on me. I dyed my hair black. It all coincides. I dyed my hair black. I started to train. I started to focus on me. I stopped doing the drugs and the alcohol, and I just put I took the clamps out of you. Yeah. And everything got better.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
And then you ignited me to get better, stop partying, slow down on the drinking, and even get my body right, get myself right. You know what? She's doing it. You want my wife to tell me my girl's doing it? Like, fuck that. I need to do it too then. Yeah. And then you proposed after a week after my first fitness competition. Yes. Yeah, I felt like it was time. I felt it deep down. I listen, I'm not a pressure dude. People don't pressure me and tell me what to do. I got to do this by a certain day or time. I just felt those right. I felt like it was going to mature me as a man. I needed to man up, basically. It was also a reflection of, first of all, it was in year 3. So it was either we're going to shit or get off the pot. But we didn't have those conversations. We never had any conversations around ultimatums or anything like that. Never. But it felt right because the relationship had evolved. We got past that year 2 building trust thing, and everything just fell into place. At the core, we were very compatible. Yes. And it was like, that was hard to let go. Yes. Very Even compatible. Though we had issues, right? You were trying to learn how to not be single, and we had those kind of issues. Because we were compatible, it made it hard to let go but we get along so well. Yeah. It wasn't even that. It wasn't that. It was just, sometimes guys want to float their ego and be a cool guy and look like a cool guy. And I was still, like I said, men sometimes take a little while to mature. From boys to manhood, it takes a little while. And I needed that. I was like chasing something because I guess part of me is like, I felt like I lost something while I was in prison. But now I look back, I didn't lose shit. It gave me up going there. This preserved me, to be honest with you. It did me good. Yeah. But at that time, I was thinking like, fuck, I lost all these years. I'm going to gain it back. I was, float my own ego. But actually, no, it actually did me some good. Meaning. Yeah. So I actually feel, though, that our relationship is better because of it, because we went through that. We didn't just float through the meadows of a perfect relationship and then we got married and then you're going to go through it at some point. You have to go through that. Some storms. Take the love goggles off, build trust, and then phase 3 is called commitment and loyalty. And the relationships that go through that and truly go through those phases and then get married after, you improve the statistics of remaining married significantly. And obviously this says right here, couples who wait at least 2 to 4 years before marriage are less likely to divorce. So we got married in 3.5 years. 3.5 years? Yes, 3.5 years we were together. So I always think that our relationship perfectly fell within these phases. And I think that's why we have a pretty healthy relationship. Listen, it is not perfect. And we share this kind of stuff because relationships are not perfect. No, we bicker. Even now we're married, we bicker, but we get over it. We bickered right now on this show. We'll get over it, man. It is what it is. But that's another thing. Why do we get over it so quickly? Why? It's because we're compatible. Even in our conflict resolution, we are compatible. Yeah. And I know I got my temper sometimes gets the best of me, my emotions, but I can get over it quick. But usually with other people, I didn't want to get over it. I was like, fuck them, watch this. Watch what I'm going to go out and do.
Yeah, because you did that with me initially too. I think that's something that you've changed. You would have that mentality like, oh, you don't want me to do this? Watch this. You had this very retaliatory, I don't know if that's a word.
Yes. Because it stems from my, you got to understand, stems from my freedom being taken away. I was confined. Right. So after they left the shackles, I was like, I'm a loose line. Ain't nobody telling me nothing. Especially when I broke up with my ex, I felt like that's when I truly felt free.
Yeah.
Like I'm free. I remember I told you a story. I'm laying there in my bed in my apartment, my first apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they let a lion out of the cage. Watch this. And I'm going to elevate myself because I was struggling financially. I wasn't making money. I was a brand new trainer, but I said, watch this.
Yeah.
And I leveled the F up.
I think that it all boils down to also is building trust, because we had to build trust, because I think there was this push and pull for us during that phase 2, because you thought by me telling you I felt disrespected by certain things, I didn't want you to do certain things, that I was trying to control you.
Yeah.
And I tried to communicate to you like, no, because you do certain things, you're making me be someone that I don't want to be. I'm not a controlling person. I said, if you meet me halfway, you'll see I am actually very easygoing and I'm not controlling and I don't want to be. It takes too much energy. And I think that, again, it was building trust. Like you had to like trust that was true.
That did.
And then you got to see for yourself, like the more that you acted right, the less I wasn't actually controlling. You were actually bringing it out in me, and I didn't like it. And I didn't want to be that way. And I wasn't going to, I can tell you this 100%, and I know you were at a crossroads too. I 100% wasn't going to stay in the relationship with that dynamic. It was either going to get better quickly or we were going to part ways.
Yeah.
And I know you felt that way too. You weren't going to be in a relationship where you felt like you were being controlled.
Nope.
So it took you to let go a little bit, and it took me to let go a little bit to build the trust. Like, oh, wait. Yeah, like you probably thought, oh, okay, she's right. She's not controlling. And I thought, oh, okay, he is trustworthy. Yeah. He isn't going to do anything shady. And and here we are. We've been married now almost a decade. So I do feel like we have a little bit of, we've gone through some things, so we have a little bit of license to talk about this kind of stuff.
It's crazy, almost a decade. Fuck, it went quick. Excuse my French, you guys, but I never, listen, you're talking to a guy that never thought he was going to get married. It wasn't in my books. It wasn't in my thought process. I was tainted. I had a lot of friends that got married when divorced. They told me, don't ever get married, Mike. That's crazy. Don't sign that document. No way. You're stuck.
Oh, fuck. I didn't. Now, that being all said, I want to make sure that we do not now encourage people to stay in relationships that are bad because they think, oh, they made it, they got through.
It's different
because
for everybody.
Remember, though, the reason we got through is because at the core of who we were as people, even besides the relationship, was we were very compatible. Go ahead.
Oh, true. Very true. Compatibility is everything. And it is crazy sometimes to stop to think about it, where our birthdays are 4 days apart. I don't know if that has a lot to do with it while we're compatible. We're the exact same sign. We're damn near born on the same day. That's a trip. I've never dated a woman in my entire life where her birthday was 4 days from my birthday. Or the same sign that I could remember.
Do you think that because of that, because we're the same sign, we're more compatible? Probably, right?
Your son doesn't seem to think so, but I know you're into signs.
I believe it. I don't know.
I believe we're certain ways because we have a lot of Aquarius friends. I know a lot of people born in January and a lot of similar characteristics. And I get along with all of them. They get along with me. So I don't know. But compatibility is what it boils down to, for sure, 100%. We never lost attraction, even though I let myself get busted throughout this relationship, man. Let the record show I look bad. But I guess what kept you with me was compatibility. You still love me deep down.
Again, yes, because compatibility, like we were compatible at the core. And don't use this as an opportunity, this episode as an opportunity to stay in relationships that are bad for you. But hopefully it will shed some light on our journey a little bit and give you guys, I don't know, some tools if you are single.
Yes.
And you are looking for somebody.
Yes.
And you know what? I just always say life is too damn short to be unhappy even one day.
Exactly. And let me tell you something, ladies. If the Titanic is sinking, and it's sinking, don't go down with the Titanic, man. Cut your cord and save yourself and get out. Don't let yourself stay in too long. Don't do that to yourself. It's not worth it. Like she said, life is too short. You're only here once on this earth. You deserve to be happy. Everybody, if men are listening to this, you deserve to be happy too, fellas.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you on the next one.